Good morning. It brings me great joy to be here with you today. On the liturgical calendar, this day is noted as the second Sunday in ordinary time. And it struck me as a little weird because with everything that is happening right now, the fires in LA, wars all over the world, disaster and political turmoil. There is grief, fear, and despair all around us, and right now feels anything but ordinary. Our country holds its breath for a new leader tomorrow. And as with any election, about half the population is very happy and very hopeful. And about half the population is terrified, disappointed, and dismayed. It's really easy to see, especially how we get most of our information online, which is generated through largely opinions and agendas. It's easy to see how we can get very emotionally wrapped up in what happens next with our elections. It's not hard. We want peace. We want equality. We want freedom. We want to live our lives unafraid, unafraid of our neighbors, unafraid of our government, unafraid of law enforcement. We want food on our table and a roof over our heads, and when we get sick, we really want care. I participate in this with strong feelings and loud opinions and conscientious voting. But if I'm honest, and I look back from president to president to president, my life hasn't directly changed very much. And I know that part of this is privilege of being white, cisgendered, heterosexual. It got me to wondering how this plays out statistically for other people who perhaps have less privilege. So I did a little bit of research, and honestly, I expected to find vast differences between presidencies. What I found since 2009 is the rate of occurrence of the death of unarmed African Americans by our law enforcement has been pretty steady, no matter who was president. Rate of homelessness, about the same, no matter who is president. Rate of food poverty, use of food banks, about the same, no matter who is president. Hate crimes though, those have increased steadily, no matter who is president. Our rate of incarceration has also increased steadily, no matter who is president. And for many decades, we have had the highest rate of incarceration in the world, and our rate of suicide has increased steadily through Republican presidents and through Democratic presidents. In the process of this, I realized two things. One is that our president apparently has very little power to change these things. But I also realize that only as a people do we have the power to relieve suffering and relieve oppression of those humans around us. And we can do that no matter who is president, no matter who is in office. And this is good news, no matter who is in office today or tomorrow, because John tells us we're not alone. John tells us we're not helpless. John tells us we are light. By the sheer miracle of our existence through God who lives within us, we are light. And darkness cannot overcome light. No matter what is happening politically, as we observe the birthday of Martin Luther King, who was inspired by Jesus and inspired by Gandhi, as we bury a past president who became an icon of love and service to other humans, who was so inspired by Dr. King that he hung his portrait in the White House and in the governor's mansion in Georgia. As we gather today to worship a God of peace, it seems like a good time to ponder the choices that we make every day in which we participate in both light and darkness. And you might be thinking, like I did, I don't participate in the darkness. Okay. Instead of good and bad, let's think of darkness as actions motivated by fear and light as actions motivated by love. Actions motivated by love are, by definition, nonviolent. Nonviolent words, nonviolent discussions, writing, thoughts, dreams, nonviolent boundaries, nonviolent. Dr. King tells us that nonviolence is the only road to peace. Gandhi tells us nonviolence is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction. Jesus tells us, go ahead. Love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who use you and persecute you. Okay, we say, but honestly, there is violence everywhere, and we feel fear too. And I know that sometimes our own actions are a result of this fear, and in this way we do contribute to the darkness. Have we ever mentally chosen sides? Have we divided our country, our neighbors, our family, our friends into good people and bad people? Have we dehumanized those who we deem bad? Have we shared unkind or sarcastic or untrue sentiments online or face-to-face whenever we have seen that it supports our position of being on the right side? Have we given money to those who abuse and exploit others because it's easy or because it's affordable? Or spent our political and social energy casting blame, all of this while the suffering goes on around us? This is participating in a violent narrative of fear. Dr. King said, and in our best moments, we agree with him, that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And we are, in fact, the hands and feet of God. We are the only body Christ has here on earth. So how long do we sit by in God's body and watch oppression, war, injustice, poverty in a time which by now we must all acknowledge is in fact ordinary, full of King Herods, full of justice, full of natural disasters, and full of suffering, and allow fear and scarcity to remain the main narrative? How long? 4 years? 20 years? 2,000 years? How long? If we are the hands and feet of God, we have work to do every day, no matter how we voted. We have work to do every day from a place of love, not fear or judgment or anger. We are called to care for the sick, feed the hungry, house the homeless, visit the incarcerated, welcome the stranger, and free the oppressed. We're called, no matter how we voted, to stand our ground for equality and freedom and love and non-violence. We are called to educate those around us with love and non-violence, to participate in local or national politics with love and nonviolence. And we're called to love those who we believe to be our enemies and bless those who curse us. But how, we say, how? We are exhausted. And honestly, will it even help? What we do know for absolute certain is that violence and fear has never helped to bring peace, freedom, equality, or justice. Never. We're called to create this change from a place of love. We're not the first to find ourselves here with this gargantuan task that feels impossible. Jesus made change. Jesus still makes change. He had zero control over the politics in the Roman Empire. Martin Luther King Jr. made change, still makes change today. He was not an elected official. President Jimmy Carter made his most impactful changes across the entire globe in the 50 years after his presidency ended. These are people, along with others throughout history, who understood that true peace, this peace that we all crave, comes from within, and it's not realized fully until it is shared. And this light, this noise of love will overcome any darkness, including the darkness that surrounds us right now. In the words of Dr. King, now is the time. Now is the time to create a new narrative of love and nonviolence. Now is the time to drown out our narrative of fear. Now is the time to find out who is hungry and unhoused and uncast in your community and to work to relieve their suffering. Now is the time to connect in your community with love and work together, make change until the oppressed are free and all are created equally. Now is the time to make noise with your song, with your art, your gifts, your financial choices. Make noise on your school boards, make noise on your city councils, make noise to your elected representatives. Make noise with your hands and your feet as you make change around you. Now is the time to lift up those around you who inspire you so that others may also be inspired until the noise of love is louder than the noise of fear. Breathe your own life into the words of Dr. King, who said, we can very well set a mood of peace from which we can create a system of peace. Together, let us say, rest easy, Dr. King. Rest easy, President Carter. Rest easy, warriors of peace who've come before us. The peace of God is alive in us. Truth is alive. Love is alive. The light shines in the darkness, and we've got it from here. Amen. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was